please be seated for the inaugural session, which will begin with the lighting of the lamp.
واحد اثنين كده ايوه خلاص ما يقدر يدعك فاتح انا رجيته فاتح
Thank you all for lighting this ceremonial lamp. May I now invite the President of the 54th Annual Session, His Excellency Mr. Liu Zhenmin, the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, to make his presidential remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, dear colleagues. We will now begin with the inaugural session. Your Excellency, Ms. Sujata, Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs of India, Your Excellency, Professor and Dr. Ramat Mohammed, Secretary General of ACO, Honorable Ministers, Attorney General, Heads of Delegations, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, observers, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to address this august gathering. At the outset, I would like to thank our chief guest, Her Excellency Secretary Sujata Mata, for taking time out of her busy schedule for gracing this occasion and agreeing to inaugurate the 55th session of ACO. I would like to thank ACO Secretariat and the able leadership of Professor Ramat Mohammed for the excellent preparations for this annual session. I would also like to thank the Government of India and its Ministry of External Affairs for the warm hospitality extended to us and the excellent arrangements made for this annual session. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as the President of the 54th session, I felt very honored to have been entrusted to carry this business of the 54th session to such a historical point at this year's annual session, as we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of ACO. Guided by the abundant spirit of solidarity, friendship, and cooperation, ACO has played a significant role in consolidating and advocating common positions and interests of the two continents in the various fields of international law over the past 60 years. Now, in the new era, when both the international law and the world order are undergoing profound changes, the relevance and the value of ACO can only become ever higher. Indeed, it is imperative for our member states to continue our commitment and support to revitalizing and strengthening of this organization, with a view to further enhancing our collective influence in the field of international law and to promoting a more just and equitable international system, which would better safeguard world peace and assist our common development. In this regard, I would like to propose that on this historical occasion of commemorating the 60th anniversary of the organization, we should work out some languages in outcomes of the 55th session, either in a resolution or in a declaration of this session, to send an appeal to all Asian African countries to increase their support to the further enlargement and revitalization of the organization through political, financial, and other means, including by becoming a new member of the organization. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I also felt gratified to say that during my presidency, ARCO Secretariat, despite its limited financial and human resources, organized numerous programs and activities for the benefit of member states. I'm sure that the Secretary General would later give a detailed report on the activities over the past year. Let me mention a few important events. First, 2 intersessional meetings of the legal experts were held here in New Delhi, one in January 2016, the other just in the afternoon of yesterday, to deliberate on the draft ARCO principles and guidelines to combat violent extremism and its manifestations. These discussions have enhanced our understanding on each other's concerns and contributed very much for our joint efforts to comprehensively address the multi-pronged legal questions related to the scourge of violent extremism. Second, ARCO Legal Advisors meeting was held in early November 2015 in New York on the sidelines of the 70th session of the UN General Assembly. Third, the Secretary General participated in the annual session of the International Law Commission held in May 2015 and presented the views of the member states on items in the work program of the Commission. These events have now become regular features in the ARCO calendar. In addition, it is also pertinent to mention ARCO's legal experts meeting on identification of customary international law, held in Manila in August 2015. I'm glad to see that ARCO Secretariat is committed to make its own contribution in this area since the establishment of the Informal Expert Group on Customary International Law. I'm also glad to learn that the Informal Experts Group, through its rapporteur, Professor Xin-He Yi, has conducted dialogues with Sir Michael Wood, the Special Rapporteur of the International Law Commission on this topic. The work of the Informal Expert Group was accredited by Sir Michael Wood as perceptive and constructive. This represents a new contribution of our organization to the work of the International Law Commission. There are many more programs to add. I mention these events just to demonstrate ARCO's commitment in coordinating with the various institutions to keep up the dialogue and consultations on contemporary issues in international law. I hope ARCO will continue to keep up such endeavors. Besides these programs, ARCO Secretariat has also been busy engaging in special studies on 2 contemporary issues, that is, marine biological diversity beyond national jurisdictions and international law in cyberspace. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also pleased to inform this August gathering that my own government, the People's Republic of China, has also made new contribution to the work of ARCO through the operation of the China-ARCO Exchange and Research Program on International Law. A photo exhibition of the program will be held as a side event of this annual session this evening, and the Chinese delegation will host a reception tonight for the exhibition, and all delegations are warmly welcome. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, besides the celebration of its 60th anniversary, its Diamond Jubilee, this annual session is important for ARCO for another reason, that the election of the new Secretary General. Before touching on the election, I would like to take this opportunity to express my deepest appreciation to the current Secretary General, Professor and Dr. Rahmat Mohammed, for his spirited leadership, steadfast commitment, tireless efforts towards fulfilling the mandate entrusted on him by the member states. His almost 8-year tenure has been really remarkable and made a difference in the development of the organization. On election of the new Secretary General, this time we will have a Secretary General from Africa. I'm certain that he or she would pick up the baton from Professor and Dr. Rahmat and lead the organization to a great height. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will discuss over the next 3 days important agenda items such as international law in cyberspace and the draft principles and guidelines to combat violent extremism and its manifestations. Facing immense challenges from these new issues of international law, the Asian African countries, indeed the whole international community, need to come together and work constructively and creatively to find common solutions. I'm sure our member states have the courage and wisdom to achieve more in the coming days and months. In addition, while stressing the importance of promoting the rule of law at the international level, we shall also need to guard against any abuse of the international legal procedures that would target against our Asian African countries and whatever pretexts. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I would once again thank all the ARCO members, the Vice President of the 54th Annual Session, the Secretary General and the ARCO Secretariat for the support and cooperation extended to me in fulfilling my duties. I would also wish the incoming President and the Vice President all success. And I'm confident that under their able leadership and guidance, this organization would continue to work as a platform for legal deliberations on issues of significance to Asian African countries. Dear colleagues, with these words, I would like to invite the chief guest of our host government, Honorable Ms. Sujatha, Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs of our government of India, to kindly present her inaugural address. Your Excellency, have the floor, please. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Your Excellency, Minister Liu, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China and President of the 54th Annual Session of ALCO. Madam Vice President, Your Excellency Professor Dr. Rahmat Mohammed, Secretary General of ALCO, and Your Excellency Mr. Hussein Panahi Azhar, Director General for International Legal Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and past President of the 53rd Annual Session of ALCO. Honorable Ministers and Honorable Attorneys General of Member States of ALCO, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege, on behalf of the Government of India, to welcome this distinguished gathering to Delhi for ALCO's 55th annual session. May I felicitate you, Mr. President, on a very successful year in which you have presided over ALCO's meetings, and may I also felicitate you, Mr. Secretary General, for the initiatives you have taken and the many new activities that you have undertaken as the leader of this organization. As a founder member of ALCO, and having had the privilege of hosting the organization here in Delhi since its inception in 1956, we are particularly gratified that this important session is being held in this city. This year's annual session is also significant because while this is ALCO's 55th annual session, it is the 60th year of the founding of the Asian Legal Consultative Committee, which preceded this organization in its present incarnation. India attaches great importance to ALCO and the work undertaken in this body. We have always participated in ALCO's activities with close interest, as we regard ALCO as an essential platform to discuss and help crystallize the needs and interests in the field of international law for countries of the Asian and African regions. In that sense, we see this organization as playing a central role in the development of international law regionally and beyond. It is worth recalling how ALCO came into being. At its inception, it was a tangible outcome of the historic Afro-Asian Conference in Bandung, at which 7 states, Indonesia, Iraq, Japan, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, the then United Arab Republic, and India, came together to establish the committee. Underlying the founding vision was the ambition to democratize the development and codification of international law and to broaden its base so that it becomes more reflective of the hopes and aspirations of the Asian and later, as the original committee evolved, the African continents. The continuing relevance of the founding vision has been reaffirmed repeatedly since ALCO was established. It is noteworthy in this context that this is the only intergovernmental organization which thus combines and reflects the interests of 2 major continents for focused and serious discussion on international law. The contribution of ALCO to thus giving concrete form to the cooperations between our 2 continents, between Africa and Asia, has been considerable. In terms of contribution to the discipline, the role of ALCO in the development of the concept of the exclusive economic zone is an example. An important element in the field of the law of the sea has been noteworthy. Similarly, there are other such documents to which ALCO has made significant contribution, including the principles concerning extradition, principles on the status and treatment of refugees, and so forth. It has become evident that over the passage of time, and as a result of the impact of technology and of the effects of globalization, the distinctions between public international law and municipal law have begun to blur somewhat. As a consequence of these tendencies, the instruments of international law and the activities of international organizations are becoming more salient in both the public and personal domains. It is therefore fitting that ALCO pursues discussions and activities that relate both to public and to private international law. As international law is growing increasingly more complex, it has an increasingly deeper impact on the very intricate web of rules and institutions that regulate the affairs of states, of international organizations, of individuals, and of their interactions with each other. Various institutions provide mechanisms to facilitate international cooperation in this domain and to promote compliance with both public and private international law. Just a few instances of these are laws and regulations that relate to trade and business, transnational crimes, human trafficking, IPR, human rights, and so forth. These are only a quick sample of the subjects that are dealt with. In this backdrop of the ever-widening canvas of international law, ALCO's relevance for its members is further reinforced. ALCO's close cooperation with other international organizations, including through its representation at the United Nations, has provided an additional platform for ALCO member states to contribute to the progressive development of international law. I would like to note the constructive role of the interactive dialogues on various international law issues organized by the ALCO representation at the United Nations. ALCO's participation in the deliberations of the International Law Commission, the seminal body, are also noteworthy. In this light, India would be happy to see further enhanced cooperation between ALCO with international organizations that deal with international law matters. Also on current issues being discussed and developed internationally, be it the issue of the marine biological diversity beyond national jurisdiction or on the legal regime relating to cyberspace. ALCO's participation in the alternative dispute resolution scheme and the establishment of 4 regional arbitration centers in our region, in Cairo, in Kuala Lumpur, in Tehran, and Lagos, deserve to be highlighted. It is our hope that ALCO over time should play an even greater role in the field of alternative dispute resolution. This 55th session of ALCO has an important and serious agenda. A number of topics in international law very relevant to present-day concerns and present-day discussions will be deliberated upon, including violent extremism, terrorism, WTO issues, the agenda items on being discussed in the ILC, and the law of the sea. I believe that the discussions in this distinguished gathering here will be informed by and in turn will influence the international debates on these issues. As someone in a foreign office who depends every day on the expertise and support that we receive from our colleagues who deal in international law matters, I would like to affirm the deep support that we all are committed to for your work. It is therefore my pleasure and my privilege to declare this 55th session of the Afro-Asian Legal Consultative Organization open. I wish you all very stimulating and productive discussions and a good stay here in Delhi. I thank you for your attention.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the Honorable Secretary of Sujata for his inspiring address, and I hope this would set the ball rolling for the deliberations during the 55th annual session of ALCO. Our chief guest has a very busy schedule, so she will have to leave us, and I request all the delegations to remain seated so that we can continue with the rest of the program. Wait, okay. Wait until the inauguration. Yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I think Secretary Sujata, our chief guest, is kindly enough that he will stay with us until the end of the inaugural session. Now, dear colleagues, I now invite His Excellency Professor Dr. Rahmat Mohammed, the Secretary General of ALCO, to present his welcome address.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Your Excellency, Madam Sujata Mehta, the Secretary West, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, His Excellency Mr. Liu Zemin, the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, People's Republic of China, and the President of the 54th session of ALCO, Honorable Ministers, Attorney Generals, Heads of Delegations, Excellencies, distinguished delegates and observers, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular pleasure to welcome you all to this distinguished gathering of the 55th annual session of ALCO. I am extremely grateful to Your Excellencies for having spared your valuable time to participate in this session. The presence of honorable ministers and Attorney General heading the delegation is indeed a matter of immense importance for us. This signifies that ALCO and its initiative remain valuable to you all. I'm sure we would immensely benefit from your insightful comments and eagerly looking forward to your active participation. Let me begin by conveying my heartfelt thanks to Her Excellency Madam Sujata Mehta, Secretary West, Ministry of External Affairs, for taking time off her busy and hectic schedule to grace this occasion and deliver the inaugural address. Thank you, Madam. India, as the host government of ALCO, has been one of the most proactive participants in ALCO matters, and India's support remains invaluable to us for fulfilling the mandates entrusted on us. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Liu Zemin, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, People's Republic of China, and the President of the 54th session of ALCO. His guidance and support have been instrumental in the successful organization of many events in the past year. I would particularly like to thank him and his government for establishing the China-ALCO Exchange and Research Program on International Law. The first initiative under this banner, a training program on international law, was successfully organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China at Xiamen University in China last year. Legal officers and diplomats from many member states participated in that 3-week-long program. I hope many more similar events will be held as part of this program, and I assure you full support from the ALCO Secretariat for holding them. Further, I would like to thank the Vice President of the 54th Annual Session, Honorable Professor Gitu Mugai, the Attorney General of Kenya, for his service and support. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this annual session is important to the organization and the member states for many reasons. Firstly, ALCO is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year, as mentioned by the President of the 54th Annual Session. As you all know, it is a tangible outcome of the historic Bandung Conference. 7 countries which had freed themselves from colonial bondage decided to join hands to create a forum through which they may forge a common position on matters of international law and present it in various negotiating fora. And in November 1956, the Asian Legal Consultative Committee was established. The committee was meant to serve as an advisory body of legal experts to facilitate and foster exchange of views of legal matters of common concern to participating countries. To fully embrace the Bandung spirit and encourage participation of countries from African continent, the name of the organization was changed accordingly to the Asian African Legal Consultative Committee from the year 1958. Its success is evident in the last 60 years, as it has grown from just 7 member states to 46. From the initial temporary deliberative nature of the committee to a permanent regional organization dealing with matters of international law from the perspective of the two most populous continents of the globe, ALCO has traversed a long path in the last 6 decades. This 60th anniversary celebration provides as yet another opportunity to reflect on the past and chart out the future course of action. This annual session is significant for another reason. We are living in times where rule of law in many parts of our continent is trumped by violence and anarchy perpetrated by non-state actors. Violent extremism and its different manifestations, which have engulfed a number of